Welcome to Healthfirst Healthy Living. I'm Chef Jeffrey Vaden, and today we're going to talk about making whipped sweet potatoes for a healthy Thanksgiving meal. All right, so when you're in your market, you're going to pick up some sweet potatoes. They're also known as yams. Technically, they are sweet potatoes. Yams are from Africa. Sweet potatoes are here, right from America in the Carolinas. Nice outside orange flesh, beautiful bright orange flesh on the inside, whereas yams are more white on the inside. For this recipe, I'm going to start out with 4 sweet potatoes. I want you to take them to the sink, rinse them off, scrub them if they're really dirty. Do not peel them. They're going to go straight into the oven, 350 to anywhere between 350 and 425 degrees for about anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour. I don't put them on the pan, I put them right onto the grid of the oven. I want them to get hot. You're going to know when they're done when you're going to smell them, and they're going to begin to ooze a little bit. So you want to put some foil or something on the bottom of your oven if you don't have it protected. That oozing, the stuff oozing out, is the natural sugars. That's what you want. That's the reason why I don't boil them. That's the reason why I don't microwave them. It makes all the difference in the final product. So here we are, fresh from the oven, and you can see my sweet potatoes are really done. They're going to come away from the skin a bit on the inside. And if I show you, I'm just going to cut it in half. So as you can see, the sweet potatoes, they're easy to peel once they've been roasted properly. And we're just going to take off the peel and get the flesh into a bowl. Make sure you don't get any peels in your bowl, because in that bowl is going to be all the goodness. If you can see the sugariness on these as the peel comes off, it's a wonderful thing. All right, so once you've got the flesh in the bowl, we're just going to start throwing all the other ingredients in and building those flavors. And we're going to start out with our friend brown sugar. 2 tablespoons of brown sugar is what I'm going to add to this. And I'd like to sweeten naturally as well. I'm going to use a little bit of honey. And I'm going to add about 1 to 2 tablespoons of honey to this recipe. We're going to add a little bit of butter. And I do mean a little bit. I'm adding about 1 tablespoon of butter. I like the mouthfeel on butter, and honestly, there's no substituting it. It's Thanksgiving, and this recipe is going to feed about 6 people. 1 tablespoon for 6 people, not so bad. I'm going to add some vanilla extract. If you're going to make a splurge in the grocery store, go with the pure vanilla extract. It tastes so much better than the imitations. I think every now and then we do make splurges for ourselves. This is a good splurge. And we only need, a 1/4 teaspoon. It will last a very long time. Grandma used to add half and half to her recipe, and you can tell that's where a lot of calories are going to come from. I found a great substitute. This also works really well in mac and cheese as well. A low-fat evaporated milk. I'm going to start out with about 1/4 cup. I'm going to get an orange, and I'm going to take the juice of half of that orange, and I'm going to leave the other half in case we need it, because I can add that just like the milk if my consistency is not right. And then it's all about the spices. A little bit of nutmeg. And when I say a little bit, I'm putting in about 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg. That's 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg. About 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon. And down about 1/8 teaspoon of ginger. Ginger is very strong, and if you have folks that don't like ginger, don't put the ginger in. It's that simple. I like ginger. If you have fresh ginger, you can buy it by the hand in the grocery store. You can grate a little bit of that in as well. And then, of course, a little bit of salt. And for this recipe, and that was about 1/4 teaspoon or less, a pinch of salt. And for this recipe, I'm going to use some white pepper. White pepper is stronger than black pepper, so I'm going to use less of it. And I mean just a fine pinch of that as well. And then we get the mixing. You can use an electric mixer if you like. You can use a standalone mixer. I like Grandma's method. Just a whisk and a bowl, mash it together and begin whipping. So if you can see, I'm mashing it in there first. And if I were going to serve it like this, that would be called mashed potatoes, but we're making whipped potatoes. The whole deal on whipping is to incorporate air. That's what you're doing when you're whipping something. So I'm still not whipping it. Right now, I'm mashing and I'm still stirring. Get that off from the inside. And slowly, I'm gonna start getting into a whipping motion where I'm incorporating air. And I mean, the whole point of that is to make them nice and fluffy and great for presentation. So when you're whipping, there you go. My whisk is actually leaving the bowl and I'm whipping the potatoes. You're going to get a strong arm, but it's not going to take long. You're going to be doing this for about 3 minutes until you get to a desired consistency. I like this consistency, but remember, if you don't, you can always add a little more orange juice to it. You can always add a little more of your evaporated milk to it. So at this point, I've got them all whipped up, and I'm gonna give it a taste, and then we're gonna adjust the seasonings. One of the things I love about this dish is that the options are endless. You can add rosemary to this, you can add maple syrup to this, you can add chipotle paste to this. My niece loves it if I put marshmallows on top and put it under the broiler for a couple of minutes so the marshmallows melt on. The possibilities are really endless. You can even take, if you didn't roast your potatoes as perfectly as I did and you still have some potato left, you can scoop out the flesh and then use it, you know, like those twice baked potatoes. You can use the skin and pipe this back into the potato and present them that way. Endless. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put these into a piping bag and I'm just gonna pipe them into each individual dish, and that's how I'm gonna serve them. All right, folks, so that's whipped sweet potatoes. From my kitchen to yours, I hope. Happy Thanksgiving. Be sure to keep checking this space for more tips on living your best healthy life.